morning, enjoying the weekend. I'm going to start out this morning by turning to John chapter 15. I can turn to John chapter 15 as we begin this morning. The first part of John 15 is one of my favorite passages of Scripture. I studied this when I was younger, and I liked the whole idea and mindset behind a vineyard and vines and branches and how this was explained. I'd just like to read through verses 1 through 8. I am the true vine. My Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be given to you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. What a powerful passage. Scripture. Jesus is telling us, my Father's the gardener. I am the true vine. If you want life, you have to remain connected to me. Branches are cut off a tree and laid on the ground. It doesn't look too pretty, does it? When branches are part of a tree or part of a vine or whatever, it looks fruitful, it looks pretty, it looks nice. It's the way it's intended to be. The way God intends it is that we hold on to the vine. We hold on. The verse that really sticks out to me is verse 5, when he says, apart from me, you can do nothing. There are a lot of passages in the Bible that are kind of hard to understand. You need a concordance, or you need cross-references, or you need something to explain to you. But I like it when you can just look right at it and understand it. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And you can try on your own, but it's useless. Completely useless. And every one of us have had that experience. We try on our own. What happens? We fail. We fall off the cliff, so to speak. We go our own way and we go the wrong way. And every time we go God's way, it always seems to work out. Our way just never seems to work. He wants us to remain in Him. If we remain in Him, we will bear the fruit, the wonderful fruit. But apart from Him, it is useless. Absolutely useless. This past week, I received an email newsletter from Crosswalk.com. Some of you may be familiar with that website. They have a lot of devotional material on there, leadership material, devotionals you can sign up to. And I have an email that comes through every week, and sometimes the articles are quite catchy. This week it was. And it listed things for the new year, questions for the new year. And in your bulletin is a list of those. Not all of them, but I pulled out ones that I really felt would apply to our lives. Now, I'm not going to read through all those. Basically, it's a list for you to take home and to go through yourself and maybe pick out a few. It's kind of exhaustive, but it's really good to look through and read the questions and just take time to pray about it and think about it. And Lord, show me which ones I need to improve on and to be better about. And you know what? When it comes to a new year, that's sometimes the best time for people to think in their minds, what do I need to do better? We need to think about that every day. But the new year just happens to be that time of the year where we think about resolutions, we think about doing things different. We've kind of been talking about that the past 2 weeks, daily cleansing of our temple, and just, God, how do I make the best use of every day? How do I live for you the best way? And I want to read through the first 10 here. What's one thing you can do this year to increase your enjoyment of God? What's the most humanly impossible thing you will ask God to do this year? What's the single most important thing you could do to improve the quality of your family life this year? That's a good one. In which spirit? What's the biggest single time waster in your life, and what will you do about it this year? What is the most helpful new way you can strengthen your church, for whose salvation we pray most fervently this year? What's the most important way you will, by God's grace, try to make this year different from last year? What one thing can you do to improve your prayer life this year? Well, that affects every single one of us. What can we do better in our prayer life? Our prayer life will always be stronger. What's the single thing you plan to do this year that will make matter most in 10 years in eternity? I just wanted to go through a few of them there. And the rest of them, you can go through in your own time, with your family, talking about them together, and just seeing what in your life needs to improve better. And as this title of the sermon, Nowhere and Nothing Without Him. It's exactly what Jesus says here about being attached to Him. Without me, you go nowhere. Without me, you are nothing. And that sounds maybe harsh in a way. Great, I'm nothing. Well, you can live a life the way you want to, but if you really want a life that matters, that's worth something, the only life to be lived is in Jesus Christ. And that sounds kind of cliche, but it's the truth. It's the honest to God truth. Without Him, we have no hope. Without Him, life is a dead-end road. You know, like when a GPS messes up and you hit a dead end? Darn GPSs sometimes. That's what happens when we don't follow the way of the vine. We don't hold on to Him. We don't trust Him enough. This passage, John, that I shared with you, we see that Jesus is the vine. We are the branches. Without Him, there is no life to be lived. There are temporary pleasures that attract every one of us. And some of those would really get us sometimes. And then afterwards, I failed again. I let go of the vine again. I went my own way again. Lord, forgive me. I feel so empty. Last year I shared a message about how God prunes us and chisels us into more of what He wants to be. If you remember, I shared a video. It was from the Skit guys called God's Chiseling Session. It's about a 10-minute video. You're more than welcome to get on YouTube or Skit guys' website and watch it. And it's a powerful, powerful video if you remember it, about how God has to chisel things out of our life. And sometimes that really hurts. Because we don't want those things to go away. We want that stuff in our lives. We want what we want. And God says, well, unless you let me chisel away, you can't grow. I have to chisel away. Here in verse 2 of John 15, it says, He cuts off every branch in you that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit He prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. Ow, He cuts off every branch in you that bears no fruit. Ouch, ouch, ouch. It's painful to think about. But Jesus says, if there's no fruit there, then what use is there? If there's no fruit there, then there's nothing going on. There's nothing useful happens. As we begin the new year, I encourage all of us to let our Heavenly Father prune us. And sometimes that is so painful for Him to do. Let Him prune. Very simple. Let Him prune. Let Him prune. You know, if you're in the garden, if you're tending to your own things at home, you know, you see something that doesn't look right in your garden, sometimes you have to prune it. I don't think a plant's going to yell at you and scream at you for doing that. But think of that as in our lives. God is the gardener. He has overseen everything. And He knows exactly what needs to be pruned away. And sometimes no, God, just keep the clippers away. Don't clip this. I want this. And I think God just maybe even has a tear in His eye. But why? Why? Why do you want that in your life? I need to prune it back so that you can grow. And, you know, letting Him prune, that sounds like such a simple statement to us. Well, yeah, He needs to prune us. But it's hard. It's very, very hard. When we choose to let God prune us and wipe away the junk that isn't helping us, we come to find that we grow much more when that junk is cleared. It's part of the daily temple cleansing that we talked about last week. That daily temple cleansing. Every day we get up asking God to cleanse us. Sometimes we just need to let Him do some pruning so that the work can be done through us. God has what I call aerial view. When you see an aerial view at showing ball games on TV, the aerial view is provided by you. Wow, that's a much different view. That's the view God has of our lives. He sees things. He sees the bigger picture, what we're not seeing. And yes, sometimes it hurts, but He knows what He's doing. His Son, Jesus Christ, is the vine and gives us true life. And as long as we remain hooked on to Him, we will have life. As I said before, times the shears or the clippers, it hurts. We cry, God, why are you doing this? It hurts so bad. He's saying, I know it does, but I'm doing this so that you can grow. You have to trust me. And trusting God sometimes is so hard to do. So hard to do. If you turn with me to the book of Hebrews, chapter 12. Hebrews 12, verses 7 through 11. Hebrews 12, 7 through 11. Endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as sons. For what son is not disciplined by his father? If you are not disciplined, then you are illegitimate children and not your sons. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for that. How much more should we submit to the Father for spirits and live? Our fathers disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good, that we may share in His holiness. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. I can't help when I read through that when I grew up being disciplined by my dad. That wasn't fun. He had a paddle in the front room. If you so much as looked at it, your life was over. He walked in the room, are you looking at it? And I mean, it would just scare the daylights out of you. If you go near that, I know, Dad, I know. You just walk out of the room, and it was just like this glow, this force field around it. You just kind of felt, okay, out of the room. And one time I went in there, and I don't know what I was doing, I looked at the paddle's gone. And next thing I know, I was into another universe. Or, how many of you heard, go give me that switch? How many of you grew up with that? Yeah, okay, nobody. I heard it a few times from people, different people growing up with, and I might go get the switch so you can use it on me. Nobody likes discipline. But parents know. They know that disciplining their children, even though we're imperfect at it, we know we need to discipline them. And God says, I need to discipline you. I have to discipline you. Otherwise, you're never going to learn. Sometimes God has to just kind of slap us upside the head. That would be interesting, seeing a hand come out of heaven and slap you. That would, I'm sure, make it the national news. Sometimes God just has to do that. Some of us more than others. And we can laugh about that. That's what God has to do. He has to discipline us. He has to, shift our lives around and knock us into gear. No, don't go that way, go this way. You don't get it. I want to give you life. No discipline seems pleasant, but we have to be disciplined in order to grow. And the best way we can be disciplined by our Father is when we surrender our lives completely to Him. That's hard. Surrender is hard. And we have to surrender and hang on. Surrender and hang on. That's what you got to do when you get on a ride at a theme park. You're locked in, you better hang on for the ride. You don't know what's ahead. Some of you probably scream like a girl. Well, girls, if you scream, then you're going to scream like a girl. I like rides. Love them. They're great. They're wonderful. No, that's just how it is in life. We have to surrender and hang on for the ride because God says, hang on. It's not going to be any way that you think it's going to be. The greatest decision we could ever make in our lives is being a truly committed follower and surrendering to Him. Giving Him completely all the control and not holding anything back. But we like to hold things back. Say, all right, God, here you go. And we take it right back. He's like, well, I can't do anything with that. I can't take control. I can't lead your life. He has to be in complete, total control. Not only do we need to surrender, but we have to hang on. Because when God's in control, it's a wild ride. There is no kiddie ride mentality in the Christian life. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to be a neat ride. God's going to show us things. He's going to bring us through things. Sometimes we're going to want to jump out of that ride. He says, hang on. Just hang on. Trust me. I will carry you through. When we choose to surrender and let Him be in control, amazing things happen. We turn back here to John again, to the 15th chapter. I'm going to read down a few verses from where we were. John 15, verses 9 through 16. John 15, 9 through 16. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. I told you this so that my joy may be complete in you, and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I've called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you, and appointed you to go bear fruit, fruit that will last. And the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. God calls us to bear fruit for him, but we have to obey his commands. We have to obey him and trust him and surrender completely to him. Otherwise, there's no life. If we love him, we will obey him. Simple. But it's so hard to live out, isn't it? It's so hard to live that out. We completely surrender our lives to Jesus Christ. We're so fruitful. There's such delicious, delicate fruit that appears in our lives. And when other people see that, you're a witness to them. You're absolutely nowhere and nothing without him in our lives. We can live life without staying connected to him, but that life just leads to a dead end. Complete dead end. This morning, as I close out my sermon, it's part of my sermon, I want to share a song with you. We're also going to be singing a closing song after this, but when I was preparing this sermon, I thought of the song, how life is impossible without God, how life is impossible without him. And this is a song is from a Christian rock group called Ashes Remain. I think I've mentioned the name to you before. And they have a song called Without You. And every time I listen to this song, it literally it brings tears to my eyes. And as I sing this for you this morning, I really ask that you would close your eyes and just meditate upon the words of the song. And just think about it and let the words just really sink in to your mind. Let God minister to you. It's a beautiful song, and I just hope that you are blessed. Underneath the cold November sky, I'll wait for you. As the pages of my life go by, I'll wait for you. I'm so desperate just to see your face. Meet me in this broken I need to feel you, show me how to make it through again. There's no one I can run to, nothing I could ever do. I know where I'm without you. Take it all away, I'll wait for you. Even when the light begins to fade, I'll wait for you. I'm so desperate calling out your name. Meet me in this broken place. There's no one I can run to, nothing I could ever do. I know where I'm here. I'm tired of running, of wrestling with these angels. I lay down on my bed, I surrender. Oh, now I need to feel you. Show me how to make it new again. There's no one I can run to, nothing I could ever do. Hold me now, I need to feel you. Show me how to make it new again. There's no one I can run to, nothing I could ever do. I know where I'm without we are absolutely nothing without you.